Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about a challenge that I did, and that was for 60 days not using social media after 8 p.m. Social media can certainly be a lot of fun, and some of it can actually be extremely informative, but sometimes it can get a little overwhelming and more than a little distracting. So I wanted to try this challenge where after 8 p.m. I just didn't use social media at all and worked on other things, trying to limit some of that distraction. So why did I decide to do this, and why 8 p.m.? Well, for me, I'm actually a little more of an evening and night person. That's usually when I'm at my most creative. That's usually actually when I can focus in more and get things done that I would like to do. And as a writer, that's extremely important for me to kind of play to the time of day that is a little more of my strength area, and that is definitely more in the evening. I've always been more of an evening and night writer, and that is when everything just kind of kicks into gear and I can get into the flow of my story, and I feel the most relaxed writing during that time of day. I also really enjoy the quiet of the evening and night. I don't know how to explain it, but there's something that's more relaxing about that time of day for me, and I wanted to really kind of do something to preserve that time for myself better rather than letting myself get too distracted with like different things on my phone, social media apps, and just scrolling. And I really did wonder if I limited that down and didn't allow myself to go on social media after 8 p.m., what would that do for me? How would it change the dynamics of my evening and make things better overall for my creativity and for being able to kind of preserve and focus those hours and keep them for myself to do the things that are really important to me? But of course, I have the same issue that other people do, where we work all day or we're at school all day and come home and we're tired, we're lacking in energy, and what is easier than just sitting down and scrolling on our phones? I mean, it's second nature at this point to just go on there and start looking at things and watching things, and before you know it, hours and hours have gone by and the evening's just gone. So I really wanted to do this challenge to redirect that, and I also just wanted to have a quieter, more peaceful evening and fill it with other things that I enjoy, like not just writing, but also reading and studying languages or doing music or something like that. Just filling my evening with the things that also fill me up. Now, to prepare for this, one of the first things I did was create a folder on my phone that I actually dumped all of my social media apps into. And it was just another point of friction, I guess you could say. By putting all the social media apps in there, I would have to go to that folder and intentionally go into it and open up an app inside. And I knew that I wanted to have a little bit of that friction, another extra step or layer there, because it's so easy just to grab the phone and open it up and start scrolling. Our phones are with us pretty much 24/7, and it's just so easy in those quiet moments in between things, or just without thinking about it, to pick it up and start scrolling through and looking at social media. So that was the first thing I did to prepare. Another thing that I did was actually set an alarm for myself that said evening mode activated on it, and it would go off at 8 p.m. and that was my indicator and reminder to exit out of all of the social media apps and not open them again for the rest of the evening. So what happened during the challenge? During those 60 days, it was really interesting kind of seeing my own personal trends as the days went by. There were some days, especially early on, that it felt very strange to not reach for my phone and just go on Instagram or go on YouTube or go on any other app and start looking at videos and scrolling, because it's just something we all do. We reach for it and we start doing something on our phone. And it was hard at first for me to be like, okay, I'm just gonna put that aside unless I'm talking to a friend or talking to a family member or something like that. I'm just not gonna really mess with my phone. And it was interesting to see at first how frequently I would find myself reaching for it and how many times I had to pull myself back and go, no, we're not doing that. I'm going to do some writing. I'm going to do some reading. I'm going to do other things and have a nice quiet evening or a focused evening or a creative evening or whatever I was going for that evening and night. Now, was I perfect the entire time through the challenge? Not 100%. There were a few times that I would grab my phone and open something up and start looking at something and then realize what I was doing and go, oh, whoa, I got to put this away, and I would close out and set it off to the side. That actually didn't happen very often, that I completely mindlessly picked it up, but it did happen a few times, and that just demonstrates how much of a hold the social media apps and our phones in general have over us. I think the thing that helped me a lot was having those apps put away in a folder that I had to intentionally open. So it was a little harder to mindlessly go into there, and also having the alarm go off at 8 p.m. That really helped because it was that visual indicator, that it was that auditory indicator of, hey, we're shifting modes now. We are kind of winding down from the day, and we are going to refocus on other things now for the evening. Now, as time went on, something interesting started happening. I felt less like I needed to even check a lot of the social media apps. And there were some of them that I would go days at a time without opening and looking and seeing any like Instagram stories or whatever, because I was busy with other things. I was having work all day, so I wasn't looking at my phone as much during the daytime hours. And then once my alarm went off, I was trying to put my phone away and focus on other things. So I got to the point where there were times that a day or two would pass by, I wouldn't even think of opening certain apps. And the need to look and see what was happening became less frequent. It wasn't something that I had this like urge to do all the time. And it made it easier to focus in on the other things that I wanted to do. And even for the apps that I really enjoy the most, like even the YouTube one, because I do watch YouTube videos more frequently, I found myself being okay with checking in just once or twice, maybe watching a video or two and then putting it away and not sitting there and watching videos for hours at a time. It was much easier to just pull back, do a little bit, and not go completely down the rabbit hole. Another thing was I found myself being more able to sit for longer periods of time with it being completely quiet and still and allowing my mind to just wander. Now, this is something I used to do a lot more. I would sit, brainstorm, or think, or just kind of space out and let my thoughts go where they would. And a lot of times that's how I found a lot more creative ideas and thoughts, especially for my writing. I feel like with the digital world constantly at our fingertips, it's easy for us to drown out our own thoughts and our own creativity to the point where we're like, oh, I haven't had any creative ideas in a long time, and maybe I'm not as creative anymore. I don't think it's that at all. I think we're so turned on and we're so involved in so many other things and distracted so much that those creative thoughts and ideas don't have a chance to bubble up to the surface because we don't have quiet for long enough for our mind to even go there. And so I did notice a difference in that with having those quiet hours in the evening before going to bed, that I was having more creative ideas and more creative thoughts. And I think the quiet and disconnecting just a little bit was helping to feed into that. And there was also just a calm and a relaxation that the evenings were holding again for me, where it didn't feel hurried or frenzied or like I had used up time without even realizing it because it just went by in a blur. The evening felt more refreshing and relaxing, and like I was able to do other things and felt really good about those things. Even something simple like just going for a walk and listening to an audiobook, because I did still listen to audiobooks, so things that were reading related and stuff like that I would still do. But listening to an audiobook while going for a walk, or just sitting and thinking, brainstorming, reading a book, playing on the piano, like whatever I wanted to do for that evening, it just made it a slower, calmer, peaceful time. So has anything changed since I did that challenge? I definitely have to say some things have changed. I am much more mindful about my evenings now, and I still do have that 8 p.m. alarm set. Now, do I completely avoid social media after 8 p.m.? Not currently. There are times that I'll go on and I'll watch a video or I'll go onto social media, but I try not to let it suck away my evening, and maybe I'll look at a few things and then put it down and do other things, because I really have been trying to protect that time for myself to do other things. And I actually did wait a period of more than 60 days since I did that challenge before I'm filming this video now in order to post, because I wanted to see, after doing that 60 days and then letting the time pass, how much would I revert back to using social media more in the evenings. And it has not been a complete reversion by any means, because I think it made such a difference for me that I want to keep that time. But I'm balancing it. Like I said, I do use social media after 8 p.m., but I still have my alarm go off to just indicate, hey, this is the time of day that you love the most. Let's use it for things that are creative and things that you enjoy doing. And usually if I am using social media in the evening, it's a quick check on stories and things that I've missed throughout the day on Instagram, or it's specific videos or research or something that I'm wanting to watch on YouTube. So even my approach to it is a little different. I'm not getting quite as in that place of, oh, whatever rabbit trail I head down, because it's like, oh, this is interesting. It leads to this, and leads to this, it leads to this. And I'm not saying that never happens, because it definitely does, but I am much more mindful, I think, with my use of social media than I was previously. And especially one of the things that I think was affecting as well is that exhaustion from a long work day, being tired, low energy. I didn't want to be bothered to do anything else, but what I didn't realize was just sitting and scrolling on my phone wasn't helping me feel any more relaxed. It's actually the writing and the reading, the music, going for a walk, that were the things that were more relaxing and the things that would help me feel more peaceful and help me feel more happy by the end of the evening, because I got to do those things. So yes, I do tend to read and study and write and play music and do other things in the evening a lot more, and embracing that time of day for myself, because it truly is the time of day that is my most creative and is one of my favorite times of day. Now, for some of you, that may be the morning hours, or it may be another time of day that fits you more. And maybe that's a time that you want to set aside for yourself to do things. For me, I wanted to preserve the evening, and so that's the time that I kind of set aside to be able to do those things. I'm really glad that I did this challenge. It definitely has helped to make a difference and helped to kind of restructure my day, and to take a part of the day that was really not being used for much other than little bits of things. I mean, I would squeeze in some writing because I know I'm more likely to write in the evening. I would squeeze in some writing, I would squeeze in some reading, but now I have a whole block of time that is reserved for those types of things, so I can do more of it, and that has made such a huge difference. So will I do this type of challenge again in the future? Quite likely, yes, because it has made such a huge difference. Like I said, even now I'm preserving that time, but I do use some social media after 8 p.m. and I think it would be fun to do this type of challenge again. And who knows, maybe I'll set my clock a little earlier and go back to 7 p.m. or something like that. But I think it is a lot of fun. It was very rewarding. And it did show me again what parts of day work a little better for me and what I can do if I keep those parts kind of separate and preserved for me to use in different ways. Have any of you ever done a social media challenge like this where you've gone either without it for certain days or have gone without it for certain portions of the day? Like I said, social media can be a really great thing. I definitely use it. Obviously, I use it, but it also needs its own compartment, and there needs to be other things that we're able to do. And I know for me, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't taking away all my opportunities to be creative or to just relax or to be productive on something I wanted to be productive on. So I'm giving it its container. I'm still using it, but I'm also reserving time for other things and to make sure I can have that time to do the things that I truly love to do. If you're thinking about doing a similar challenge, you'll have to definitely let me know in the comments below. If you decide to go without it completely for days, or if you decide to take your mornings free of social media or another part of the day, I'd love to hear about it and how it goes for you. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate you all so very much. And as always, remember to keep following your dreams and believing in the magic of this thing called life. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.